There we go. Welcome, What Now movement on this Labor Day holiday. It is 12 noon. We are digging into Motivation Monday, and I am honored to have been asked to share with you on this Motivation Monday. I'm just going to check really quickly and make sure. So if you are joined and watching and you can hear me, give me a thumbs up so I know we're live and we are good to go. All right. I'll be getting some thumbs up. Okay. So, what is Labor Day? And who am I to talk to you today about Motivation Monday? Well, my name is Erin Harrigan. I am the Hustle with Heart and Health Coach. My mission is to help God and faith centered entrepreneurs to leverage faith and health and business for lasting results. And I firmly believe and have lived the truth that rest is a key component of our entrepreneurial journey. Now, you may be feeling like, listen, the pandemic hit, I've had enough rest, right? I mean, the point of this community is to say, what now? What's next? Where am I going now that all of this change has been thrust upon me in a way that I was not expecting? But rest is a vital part of that. And we're going to talk today about the importance of leaving margin as an entrepreneur so that you can best leverage your gifts, your talents, your time, and your skills to truly make the impact and have the success that you want as an entrepreneur. So, let me start by sharing with you the definition or the history of Labor Day really, really quickly, because I didn't know this myself. And I want to make sure we're all clear on what this means. So, Labor Day was established as a federal holiday. I don't have my glasses on in 1894. And the purpose of it was to pay tribute to the contributions and achievements of American workers, which is traditionally observed on the first Monday of September. All right, so it's Labor Day, right? But we're entrepreneurs. So we know that part of our entrepreneur journey is that we don't work the regular hours that people work. And sometimes that means we do work on a holiday or we do work on vacation. I want to challenge you today to be motivated to give yourself the margin of rest or Sabbath as God created in Genesis. So I'm going to be taking some content today from one of my favorite Bible study authors, Priscilla Schreier, and her Breathe study, because there's some fascinating things that I think will help you to understand where rest and that margin fits into your business as an entrepreneur. Now, who am I to tell you about this? Well, I am a 25-year corporate employee. I left corporate in 2012, started an entrepreneurial endeavor with my health and wellness business with Arbonne. I have my Energy Fizz right here. And then over the last 4 years, God has really been working on me and placing on my heart to coach and equip other entrepreneurs to pursue what I call success His way. And that looks a little different than the driving, striving, trying to achieve that the world would want us to do. Now, please hear me. I am not telling you that work is not important, that you shouldn't take action. I am not telling you that as an entrepreneur, there are not times that you're going to be working extra hard. But in this season where we're asking what now, where we're asking what's next, we have to remember to allow grace and space. And that is a hard lesson that I've learned over the last 4 years as I've been building my Hustle with Heart and Health brand. So, taking all of those entrepreneurial hindsights to help people have those foresights with God's insight is what Hustle with Heart is all about. So, here's what I want you to know about Sabbath and really about rest in your business. So, first things first, Abraham Joshua Herschel, who is a 20th century Jewish rabbi and author, in his book, The Sabbath, Its Meaning for Modern Man, says that on the seventh day, God finished his work. That's Genesis 2:2. And it seems like it would be a puzzle, but There was an act of creation on that seventh day, and that was to create the Sabbath, to create the rest. And why was that important? Because that's the piece that was missing. What was missing from creation was tranquility, serenity, peace, and repose. And that's what he created on the seventh day. So work is important. God created work and we all work. But why is this Sabbath or this rest idea so critically important? It's important because rest allows margin. Those margins are important because if we hit the ground running every single day to pursue what God's called us to do, to build an incredible empire and business, but we're not taking time for our mind to rest, then here's what we're missing. We're missing margin. Margin creates opportunity. It needs to be a top priority. Margin in business creates profits. This is according to Brad Lomenick, who is an innovator and leader of the Catalyst movement in America. Margin creates time and space. It allows creativity to happen. Margin is most often what's happening when we're out for a run or maybe we're in the shower, and that's when our creativity is flowing. But I want to challenge you to think about where does margin fit into your entrepreneurial endeavor? Margin in our lives creates options to pursue dreams, to think, to pray, to meditate, to process, to grow, and to ultimately live our lives more fully. And listen, we as entrepreneurs know that we work harder than most people work in an employee world. However, what we don't always do well is allow the margin in our hustle with heart journey. What is that hustle with heart journey? It means that we're not just building business for the sake of business and money, that we're building business to make a greater impact. And when we hustle with heart, it means that we have a peace and a joy and a calm because we are fully aligned to what God's called us to do. And we're really seeking out opportunities to serve. And in that alignment, God brings us connections. God brings us the clients that we're supposed to help. But the margin is important for us to be able to brainstorm, for us to be quiet and listen. Who would you have me serve next, Lord? You know, margin is how I met Eric Twiggs. Eric and I were faculty on a summit recently, the Passionpreneur Summit. And margin allowed me to sit down after the summit and take targeted strategic time to think about with whom from that summit do I truly want to connect? Who has similar values and looks to be on an entrepreneurial journey just like me, who puts faith at the center? And I made a short list and Eric was on that list. And I reached out to Eric and we connected and he connected me here. So the point is, had I not taken that margin, I just would have been flying through the work that I needed to get done. And I would have never allowed myself the time to think about whom can I connect with that together we could serve in bigger ways. Let me give you a little bit more about this idea of margin and why this margin is so powerful. This margin is really a countercultural act. Now think about it. Maybe you're going to a Labor Day barbecue or cookout or a crab feast, and you're going to have this with you. And probably because you're an entrepreneur, you're going to be working a little bit here and there, maybe answering a few texts or sending a few messages. Here's why margin and rest is countercultural, because that's just what we do. We just take our work with us. But that's what the world expects. And by the way, didn't some of us want to have different choices than we had in the corporate world? And so therefore, we started our own business. But oftentimes what we do is we take that tenacity and that grit and that hard work ethic that we have, and we apply that to our own businesses, but we're not giving ourselves the margin and the rest. So we're staying in step with the culture. And by the way, the Bible says in Romans, do not be conformed to the ways of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Margin and rest allows us to renew our minds. Let me tell you what else this says. Margin, or this countercultural act of rest, God transcended the order of nature. He stopped and he rested, and he prescribes the same thing for you and I. It is actually one of the ways that the image of God shows itself in our lives when we stop constantly moving in this constant moving world. It is to be still, it is to hear the small voice. Rest is countercultural because our world thrives on constant motion. So rest appears lazy. Listen, maybe you tuned in and you're thinking, she's going to talk to me about rest on a holiday. Listen, I'm taking rest, but I'll be doing some work, Erin, as I go along, right? Anybody, please post below. Let me know what you're thinking about this and how this is hitting you. But the point is, we get to be countercultural. You know, this what now movement is countercultural in that we could step back and we could sit and we could wallow in our loss, in the change that's happening around us, and not taking an active step forward. But you know what else happens in this culture is that if we let ourselves rest too much, then we procrastinate. And that's exactly what Eric's book is about, right? Is that procrastination, the power of now. So we do have to take action. But I want to challenge you to allow rest. No one can quantify or understand how God supernaturally moves when we rest, when we take him out of that box, when we take the limits off and we allow him to be in control. But the reason that we don't rest is because we know that we need to control it all. We think that we have to drive everything and make our lists and do our outreach. And you guys, all of that is true. But there is a supernatural power that takes over when we allow the rest and the margin in our life. So let me tell you a few more things about this. I believe that our inability to rest or to allow rest is actually a lack of trust. Now, maybe you aren't a follower of Christ like I am, or maybe you believe in other higher power, the universe, etc. But what I want you to know is, if you're not allowing the rest, it's actually lack of trust. Because here's what we think: if I take a break, it will all break without me involved. If I take that break and I'm not working, what will happen to my business? And because we're entrepreneurs and we work harder than most everyone, we begin to idolize that busyness and that hard work and that hustle and that grind. But we have to take time to not only sharpen the axe through rest, through reading, through renewal, but also to enjoy the fruits of our labors. And that's why I'm talking to you about this topic today on Labor Day, because today is the day to spend that time with family, whatever that looks like with your masks on, and please wear your masks. Today is the day to take a break from that phone, to take a break from the social media, to take a break from work and truly allow the joy of the fruits of your labors. The other thing that I think is so important in this, in taking this break, is that it's allowing so much in our life to step back. It allows a fresh perspective. It allows a renewal. But so often we're not allowing that rest in our life. I want to tell you, a friend of mine shared with me recently, she has a network marketing business, and one of the leaders in the network marketing business was on an incentive trip. This was before the pandemic. And she noticed that poolside, many people were still like this and not resting. So here they had earned this incentive trip, but they weren't actually interacting with their fellow trip earners, their colleagues, their sidelines, their uplines, their downlines. They weren't really interacting with their family while the family was in the pool or on the beach. They were working. What does it say to the future generations, our children, our nieces, our nephews, our family, if we're constantly working and never allowing for that rest? Listen, I get it. We want to have incredibly successful businesses. And through those businesses, we can give back in massive ways. But at the same time, we've got to allow this margin of rest. What if we took a moment and we just allowed the rest? What if today we stopped? This is my call to action in this piece. I want you to stop wherever you are. Maybe you're at a barbecue, maybe you're driving to seafront, whatever. And I want you to look around you and I want you to take it all in. I want you to see the beautiful weather. Hopefully there's beautiful weather where you are. I want you to really notice what's happening, the feel of the breeze, the sound of birds, maybe even the sound of traffic, the voices that you're hearing in your family and your friends conversing. And I want you to take a deep breath, and I want you to just say thank you to the Lord, to your higher power, and give yourself a moment of margin and rest to take it all in. Because without that, we can't be our most creative. We can't be our most effective. We can't make the most impact. This is a critical part of our businesses. And that's why I wanted to tell you this on a Motivation Monday and Labor Day, no less. Okay, as we finish this out, I want to say a massive thank you to this community. I'm just new to this community and getting to know it. I've been watching some of the presentations and seeing the posts, and it is incredible what Eric and his partners have put forth here. But I also want to tell you how you can find me and how we can explore doing business together. So as I told you, I am the Hustle with Heart and Health Coach. So you can find me on Facebook as the Hustle with Heart Coach. As on Instagram, you can find me as Erin Harrigan Entrepreneur. And everything about all I do as a multifaceted entrepreneur is at erinharrigan.com. There you can learn. I don't have my book in front of me. There you can learn about my book that I published earlier this year called Pursuing Success God's Way, a practical guide to hustle with heart. You can learn about the Hustle with Heart Academy, which has multiple components. It has our 21-day mind, body, business boot camp, which incorporates gut and mind health along with business coaching. You can learn about my upcoming live course where I'm going to be doing the Hustle with Heart live course, which is bringing to life the 7 principles of Hustle with Heart to life. That's going to be a 7-week course online that starts in October. So you can learn about that. Those details will be coming soon. And you can subscribe. You can also learn about the podcast. I have the Hustle with Heart podcast. Eric's going to be a guest of mine coming up soon. So all of that is at erinharrigan.com. Remember, take a moment today to rest. Take a moment every morning before you hit the floor, before you start logging into all your social media or the work that you have to do, and sit and rest and let the mind renew. I highly recommend diving into the Bible. The Word is the ultimate personal development resource. I highly recommend journaling, gratitude journaling, etc., but allow that rest. I promise you, you will find you get more done, more effectively, more productively if you allow the rest. All right, everybody, have a fantastic Labor Day. And by the way, get off of social media and go enjoy real life, because I promise you, it is way more exciting than being here on social media. Have a great day, everybody.